Statesman Nation, here with Coach Laird as we preview the 2017 baseball season. Coach, appreciate you coming in for a little bit. I know we're talking off camera and we're both busy, so let's get right at it.
To it.
Talk about last year a little bit. First year in the Heart, found out that the competition doesn't get any easier if you switch conferences. And we're, got through it and realized, who some of the top teams are and what we have to do to continue to compete at a high level. So let's rewind a little bit, talk about last year, encapsulate it, and then we'll talk about this year.
Yeah, we were pretty optimistic in the fall. We thought things were gonna, we'd get into the new league, and we had, at least from the pitching standpoint, we thought we had a good chance to compete. Towards the top of the league, we were hoping, obviously, and we had some academic issues that hit us with literally about 3 top pitchers, and next thing you know, in January, we're not nearly as our staff's not nearly what we thought it would be. That said, defensively, we didn't play very well either. To be real blunt about it, we fielded 939. That's not even close to where we normally field, and some of that was a little bit of lack of athleticism, I think, on the infield. And arm strength, which I think we've taken care of this year, but no, it was disappointing. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we barely finished over 500. We did finish up with a 4-game sweep of Graceland here at home, which that was nice to do. But that's really not where we want to be. It's just 500, a little bit above that. We want to get back to the national tournament, of course.
Right, definitely. Talk about the off season and trying to improve and get yourself to the next level. Bringing back the guys you did, and then bringing in some new individuals. Let's kind of recap the last 9 months, I guess. Yeah,
well, the recruiting effort was based upon a couple things. Obviously, what our needs were going to be from guys that left, and then or that were graduated or were seniors.
Right.
And then secondly, I mean, to be real blunt about it, again, we had to make some decisions. I had to make some decisions on whether or not to bring a couple guys back.
Yeah, right.
And that decision was not to bring them back.
Yeah.
I felt like we not only had to get a little bit better athletically, a little deeper in positions, but also change the culture a little bit.
Right.
And so I think we've done that. But that meant, hey, there were a couple pretty good players that weren't coming back. And, there weren't going to be, we didn't want them back, basically.
Yeah.
So, but I think I think we're in a lot better shape on both ends of that.
Good. Let's just get right into it, position by position. You always got to start right there with the pitchers. So let's talk about the throwers there.
Well, we did get hit a little bit again with the academic bug, but not nearly like last year. Yeah. And even though we've got just a few guys back that literally pitched in a game last year. We have brought in quite a few other guys that I think are. We don't have any. We don't have any big draft arms. We don't have a lot of guys sitting around that throw 90 or 92 or 94. Like in some years we've had some of those guys.
Yeah.
That said, we've got some guys I think that'll compete and they get it, and but we're going to have to pitch and not just we're not going to go out and just dominate people on the hill. But we've got guys that have pitchability. Yeah. And good change-ups, that sort of stuff. Change-ups are an excellent secondary pitch that we have to own. Yeah. But some guys that are back, Frankie Nunez comes to mind as a senior, of course. He was there. That was another thing that happened last year.
Yeah, injuries too.
He missed probably the last half of the year, and he was our number 2 starter at one time.
Right.
And Frankie was doing really well. We're going to probably, with that in mind, with his arm, we're probably going to put him into the bullpen and probably use him primarily as a starter. But he's very effective. He has 3 really good pitches. He throws for strikes. Frankie really competes. So he'll be good out of the pen for us. And that literally, too, is where we lost some of those games. Those close games last year was out of the bullpen late. Yeah. So we're going to put him in that role, I think, this year. We had 3 freshmen that pitched quite a bit last year, and that's never happened, but that was out of necessity.
Exactly.
Most of it. One of them was Brian Harity, right-hander from Colorado, and he did a decent job. He's got a good knuckleball. Dakota Herman, lefty, big kid. He threw quite a few innings, actually. I think probably maybe 30 innings, 30-some innings. And then Trent Barnett from Eddyville, he got in there too. So all 3 of those guys at least got some good experience
Definitely.
from last year. But new guys that came in that I look to, compete right away for starting positions in the rotation, or maybe in some other role, key reliever innings. Felipe Hernandez, left-hander, throws relatively hard, got real good breaking stuff. Needs to throw a lot of first pitch strikes, as does all of our pitchers.
Yep.
DJ Milan is back after having to sit out last year, and DJ's pretty good. DJ's got excellent stuff. Has a real good feel for the changeup, plus movement. Mature. He knows how to pitch. DJ will be right up there at the top of the rotation probably too. Some other guys, Austin Neff, who was over at Carl Sandburg last year. He was our #1 starter. He threw over 70 innings for him. He'll be obviously picking up quite a few innings for us.
Yep.
And a couple guys from Dakota County Tech up in Minnesota, junior college, D2 school up in Minnesota, did pretty well last year. One's Nick Seipel, right-hander, big strong kid. Has a real good feel for his off-speed stuff, and knows how to pitch, knows how to mix it, goes after people. And Scott Simpson, big kid who was at Dakota Tech with Seipel. He's actually from Australia, first Australian player.
There you
go. Plus body. I mean, you see the guy looks, he's got a major league body probably, and he's got a lot of potential, and he really works hard. So he's going to come around and pick up a lot of innings. A couple other guys, Michael Keegan and Dino Landucci. They're from California, from Skyline College out in the Bay Area, and so we're going to look at them, take a good look at them too. So that's kind of wraps up most of the pitching staff, I guess, the guys that we're really looking at right now.
Definitely. Switching the other side of the battery, let's talk about those catchers.
Yeah, I would have to say, there's no doubt the catching position is with returners is our strength this year. We have 2 seniors that are good, solid players. They're good guys. Both of them can hit too, which is that's real good. And that's going to be up in the air with those 2 guys. That's Cory Russell and Dominic Sawyer. And both of them caught a lot, and I think Cory had 3 or 4 home runs too. He's got some pop. And Dominic, he can hit. I mean, he had a high hitting average. Too, he had a couple home runs. So those are 2 pretty good, darn good players. They have good arm strength. Did have some, in my opinion, we had some issues with pitch selection, sequencing, that sort of stuff. So we need to clean that up. With what we're throwing and what to what batter to what particular situation, et cetera, with the pitch count. But we'll get that figured out. Andres Navarro, who came in from John Wood College down in Quincy, he's probably real close in there. He's behind those guys, but he can help us too. And then we got a couple guys back last year that came in, Tyler Boyle, and Tyler Doherty and Brian Penn. They're all young guys. They all work hard, but they're there too to step in if needed.
Okay. So we're working around the horn here. Looks like you got it kind of set up as middle and then on the corner. So however you want to talk about your infielders.
Well, middle infield, I'm going to maybe talk about that, speak to that. One of the things that I really like about some of these guys this year is that they're versatile. And we really, that hurt us last year. We get an injury or two and we were like stuck. We didn't have as much depth as we needed, and we didn't have some of the skills necessary to maybe play several guys in the middle.
Position,
As a matter of fact, we were pretty slow at shortstop last year. We really were. But we've got Colton Johnson back. Colton started probably at least half the year, and he came on strong. He had a lot of big hits for us too. But he's very versatile. He can run. He could hit towards the top of the order or bottom of the order. But he's a pretty good player. He's a senior, of course, but he may be, we've had him at third, we've had him working out at second. There's a decent chance he could even be in left field, but he's got that versatility that you've got to have some speed and some arm strength, or else you can't do stuff like that. Another player that's in is a true shortstop, probably, that we really didn't have last year, but it's Julian Villejas. Julian is a very good player, very good player. Makes all the routine plays, plus he makes some other plays too that definitely aren't routine. Real good arm strength. Really, really works hard. That's what most of these guys that came in this year, they know how to work.
Yeah.
So he's a good player, very good player. Anthony Aguila, he also came in this year. Anthony, we were looking at him at second base. He's had a little bit of an injury with the shoulder, but I think he's coming around. But he can hit. He can definitely hit. And good player. So we're glad to have him. And then a guy that was here last year that was a freshman, and he was looking like he was going to get some time on varsity. And he's real versatile, and that's Nick Worcester. He ended up having ankle surgery. He'd hurt his ankle prior to coming to William Penn. It kind of flared up on him last year, and he ended up not even playing on the varsity. But he can run. He's a good defensive player, either infield or outfield. So it's good to have him back. But over on the corners, we got kind of at first base. We've got kind of it's kind of clogged up there right now. We're not really sure who's going to come out of that yet, even though we've got to make that decision pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
But Tyler Raskins, a senior that's back, big kid out of Washington, we're kind of seeing who's going to hit, not just who's going to hit, but we need to make all routine plays anywhere on defense, obviously. So, but somebody really stepped up and had a lot of power, had some consistent 350, 375 hitting ability, then they could probably win that position.
Right.
But Raskins over there, we're looking strongly at him. Jared Goodman is back. Goodman hit real well in the fall for us. So defensively, again, we were looking at defense.
Right.
Phil Berman came in this year, and he's good. Got a good glove. Has in the past struggled a little bit hitting, but I think that's coming on a little bit. There's just several guys over there. There's a couple pitchers too. Actually, Nick Seipel could go over there possibly, and even Felipe Hernandez. And Hernandez has got a great glove, so Hernandez is pretty athletic. He could play in the field too.
Definitely.
Third base, we got a kid that was here last year, player that was here last year, Dan Vella, and he's looked pretty good. We need to be able to use both sides of the field when you're hitting. He gets a little pull happy once in a while, but those are things that we can work on, and he's much improved. Also, a guy that came in, his name Fabian Gutierrez. Fabian's a big kid, hits from the left side. He's a very good player. Very good player. He's going to hit probably in the middle of our lineup. Big corner guy, 6'3", 210, going to play probably at third base for us, and he can hit. Real good, high character guy too. So, outfield. We got T.J. Murphy back. He's a junior. Played some last year. Started hitting for us early, and then, I think we mentally had some tough ABs, and kind of struggled a little bit after that at the plate. But he's looked real good at the plate this year. Good. But he's got to play defense out there too. This guy Jason Delgado came in, and I recruited him primarily as an infielder. But kid can really, really run. He's real versatile too. He's more than likely, he's like I say, he's an infielder, but he's more than likely going to play center field for us. He's a good player, real good player. Might hit leadoff for us. Covers a lot of ground. He totally gets it. He's one of these yes or no sir guys. He's just real mature kid. He's a great guy. Wilson Lorenzo, who will pitch some probably. He's a lefty. Good athlete. Still takes good routes in the outfield. Has a good arm. Hits cutoff all the time. He keeps the ball in front of him, which sometimes in the outfield is a good idea.
Yeah, really, really good idea.
But I mean, he doesn't make mistakes out there.
Right.
Which you make a mistake in the outfield, and it's probably going to cost you a run.
Yeah.
So you can't do those things. But takes good routes, and he's coming around. He's got a couple things to tweak, with the bat, but He'll also pitch a little bit. His dad actually played with the Red Sox, caught with the Red Sox. He's a good player. He played for a guy that played for me, Dennis Gomez, pitcher for us several years ago. He was 25. Yep, Dennis Gomez was his coach, so we got him down there. A couple other guys that were here last year. David Orty from Clinton, Iowa. He's back. And Aaron Petrash, a guy from Florida, a strong kid. He's kind of had a little bit of a lower back injury, but Petrash has really come on. Petrash is looking pretty good. A couple other guys that are solid freshmen, really, and they're not related, but their last name
is
Signs, and they're both from El Paso.
Yeah, but not related. It's very,
but they're
very
not related, and they're both from El Paso, so that's a little weird.
Because it's like Smith, so.
yeah. Noel is a real good kid. He played for a guy that pitched for me, Bob Tharp, way back in the '80s, and Bob called me about him, and so Noel's a great. Both these kids are great guys. I'd have to say that's, we really improved, on that area too. But Rudy's a tall, lanky kid, hits from the left side. Rudy actually had the highest batting average in the fall as a freshman. And doesn't try to do too much, but he's
just got
a good feel for situational hitting and what he needs to do before he gets in there. So that kind of rounds out most of the guys, I think, that we're looking at strongly for varsity right now.
Okay. Designated hitter is obviously somewhere in on that mix, and probably just whoever's hitting hot at the time, right?
Yeah, and it's going to come from one of those guys, and it may be who's got a righty or lefty on the hill. I don't know yet, but pretty much we're trying to put the best guys out there.
And it's going to be there won't be the locked in lineup day in day out. You guys are going to do what's best for the team overall. So, sure. So, I guess going down and breaking down the schedule a little bit. We talked about conference in a sec, but non-conference wise, you guys are already getting the ball rolling here in May next weekend. So, or did I say May? February, whatever month we're in. I don't know. I'm looking way ahead. But let's I guess break down briefly just the non-conference schedule and how that's going to get you guys ready for conference play.
Yeah, we're starting a week earlier than we did last year, and that's probably good. I mean, everything I've been told, and obviously I've coached a long time, but everything that we're hearing, especially from this people in the new conference and the Raiders and all that kind of stuff, you got to play 55. You better try and play 55 games, or your consideration for any postseason is not likely. And so, especially if you're looking at an at-large bid or something like that. And I'm getting the cart way ahead of the horse here, but I'm just saying.
But you got to at least put yourself in a good position.
Yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance first off. Otherwise, like we said, you have to go 40-5.
Yeah.
That's going to be real tough with the schedule we're looking at.
So there's a couple numbers they look at. How many wins obviously is important, and who you're playing, and are you actually trying to get all your 55 in? And to be honest about it, here the last 2 or 3 years anyway, I mean, we'd get games rained out, and we're not going to miss a day of school. So, but doesn't necessarily help you when it gets to the end of the year. And other teams are doing that in baseball. They're getting their games in, and we really didn't. We were coming in somewhere in the mid-40s, and you need to be up there with the other guys if you're going to have a chance to get looked at.
Exactly.
So I think, but with regards to the non-conference schedule, we've got some pretty serious trips, real serious trips, and it's gonna wear on us a little bit, but hopefully it's gonna get us ready for that conference, because the conference with baseball and most of the sports, I mean, we're doing a little more traveling than we did in the past, and it's wears on you a little bit. So we got more overnighters. We've got to really be sensitive to academic issues too. Hopefully, we can take care of that. But we're in Kansas first weekend. After that, we're down in Joplin, Missouri. Pretty tough little tournament down there. And then, of course, we go up to U.S. Bank, which used to be the old Metrodome situation, and we'll be one of the first teams to get to play in there, college teams. And so we're really looking forward to that. After that, we're going to Tucson. So guys like to travel.
Yeah.
This is the place to be.
Exactly. Get on the bus, let's go.
And of course, right after we have to, and of course our softball coach, my coach Krister, and I, we have to cut our Tucson trip down a little bit.
To come back and get right into conference play.
2 or 3 days to kind of rest up after getting back from that, because right away we're on the road at Central Methodist Missouri Valley and Central Methodist that first Saturday and Sunday back, and then we're at Clark. Up in Dubuque. So I think we played 25 straight away from home before we have a home date.
Which is not terribly surprising. I mean, we're in the area where you're more likely going to have to go south in February and March, even though we're lucky this winter. There's no snow on the ground, but who knows when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen.
You don't know.
So I mean, you getting yourself ready. Obviously, with all those games, getting ready for a tough conference slate that includes, I forget how many games you guys are actually going to have in
32 conference.
32 is what I thought, So 32 conference games, definitely the most that we've ever had for baseball since in my tenure here. So a lot of games that are going to matter. So let's talk about conference. Just again, briefly, kind of talk about the big hitters and how we kind of figure we might be able to slip in where we're going to slip in.
We are. I'm not. I'm not exactly sure where we fit in.
Right.
Yet. I just know that we know who some of the teams just from last year that are strong and how many guys they've gotten back. They are going to, meaning the other conference schools, are probably going to look at us and say, man, they only got 5 seniors back.
Right.
And geez, they got 3 or 4 starters that were supposed to. Where'd they go?
Right.
Well, we didn't ask them back. And where's this pitcher and stuff? So we're it's that old funny thing about you need a program to identify the player. We really will this year.
Yeah.
So, but I really like the guys that are here a lot, and they don't know any better. We're gonna go out and we get a chance to prove ourselves. This is a new club. The culture's a little different. There's some better athletes on this team, some better attitudes on this team, but how does that fit in with the Mid-American Nazarenes, the Central Methodists, and those teams? There are distinctly we're in the North Division of that conference, and Clark came in this year. Mount Mercy came in this year. Both of them won between 36 and 39 games last year. Clark was in the NAIA playoffs. National tournament as an at-large team, which is very hard to do when you're independent. So they're legit. They're good. Grandview's always good, obviously. And Peru State, Nebraska is also in our division. They're good. They're solid. Culver Stockton's in there. Graceland, us. That's top 7. Mo Valley's top. I just don't. What I do not see, and you see sometimes in other sports. I do not see out of the 14 schools, I do not see 3 or 4 or 5 schools that just aren't good.
Right.
And I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I mean, looking at last year, there just wasn't a really bad team. So you had, if you're going to have 4 game set, and that only happens to the north side, but I mean, if you have a big set against teams, it's really difficult to sweep them. It's going to be really hard to go all the way across. And
we played 22 one-run ball games last year.
Yeah.
22, that's a lot, and we're going to have to do, there's 3 or 4 things that I emphasize with our guys that we need to try and do every time we go out. Number 1, from the pitching standpoint, you need to throw first pitch strike.
Right.
And, I don't care about strikeouts. Strikeouts are nice.
Yeah.
But sometimes guys fall in love with their strikeout count. Or with catchers with the sequencing of pitches. It's like, okay, we got 1 strike, let's play around now until it's 3-1.
Yeah.
We did a lot of that last year.
Yeah.
Or, hey, it's 0-2. Let's don't, next ball, that 0-2 ball needs to be off the plate.
Yeah.
And we didn't do that all the time either.
Right.
0-2, what happened? Why didn't, So some of this stuff is real common sense stuff that I don't think we got a good grasp of last year. And so that was a little disappointing. So first pitch strike, that's just vital with our pitchers. Second thing is make all the routine plays.
Yep.
We didn't do that last year all the time. Fielded 939. 939 is pretty low for us.
Yeah.
A couple years before that, we were second or third in the country at 972 or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Right.
And that's one more error per game that we're giving up. And, and a lot of times that equates
That could
to
be
one
that one run that you were losing by.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
So, and who knows what it does with momentum. I mean, you know, that's kind of mushrooms too. So, third thing is, on the offensive side, we've got to have quality, really quality at-bats. And not giveaway outs, just mindless swings, like, you know, and situational hitting, that's the key thing. What's the situation call for? What am I going to be expected to do when I get up there in the batter's box? And you don't think about that right when you step into the batter's box. You think you're back here on deck. You're seeing the situation evolve out here, and what am I going to be asked to do? What am I expected to do? What's the right thing to do in this situation? And so all of that's just start. I tell the guys this too. Whatever we do on the baseball field or thinking about what we're going to do, start early and start slow.
Right.
So you're not, oh, I got to jump out and get that pitch, or oh, I got to jump over and get this ball. I got to rehearse this early and slow, so nothing surprises me. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully you're slowing down the game. Yeah.
So those are some real important things. They don't sound like much. It's like two things we talk about too. Get your balance.
Yep.
Get your physical balance, and then focus. And then all the things that we did in practice probably will work out a higher percentage of the time, but you do that early. Get your balance and focus early. Now you're ready. Right. And then everybody should have a routine, a pre-pitch preparation routine that gets them to that position where they're ready to explode or hit the ball or let go of the ball or field the ball. So, you know, it's rehearsal. Just rehearse the right things, and you can normally perform pretty well in the ball game.
Yeah, for sure. Deal. Well, that kind of hits on my last question of, you know, how do we improve? How do we get to that next step? And I mean, those are your big three keys. A lot of new guys out there that are unproven in the Navy and Gold, but doesn't mean that they haven't brought in a tremendous amount of success at their previous school. So you've seen them enough. You know what they are capable of doing. Now it's just reaching their potential, right?
Yeah, baseball. And I've coached 5 sports, and I've played 5 sports. That doesn't mean I know a lot. I'm just saying that it's been my observation a lot that you know, baseball is a little bit more of a thinking game. It's a recovery game. What I mean by that is it's a little bit similar to golf in that you must rehearse, and build off of that. I mean, if your golf club's 1 degree off when it hits the ball's not going to go where you want it. Yeah. And you have to practice and practice and practice. But the rehearsal part, or that downtime that you have between swings, between shots, between pitches, that's the time that you've got to be able to command. When I said focus, you can get your balance, you can look great in the batter's box, or you can look great on the tee box, like, hey, you got all this together, but then you get that little thing up there on the backswing, or a little thing, you know, like, hey, I see somebody sitting with somebody in the stands, you know, well, I look good, but strike 3. Yeah. You got to get rid of the garbage. Yep. And it's hard to do for some guys. I think this group is more mature that way. I think this group has been, they've listened better, and they've come in. This is one of to their, you know, it's a real positive thing, is they've come in, they work hard, they want to work hard. Yeah. They naturally brought some of that in, and so that culture, what I was saying, the culture started off better, and the culture's still there. So I'm happy, real happy with that. Yeah. That should equate to some 1-run wins now, more 1-run wins than what we had last year.
Definitely. All right, Coach. Well, as you get going here, you're already on the field next week, and then it's probably going to be a blur there for the next 2.5 months. But we'll keep everybody abreast of the situation as we're going on. Check everything out at statesmanathletics.com. But hopefully there won't be a lot of rainouts. We can get all the games in that we need and get all the wins that we need. So
that's right. We're going to need a bunch, and hopefully we get a bunch.
There you go. All right. Best of luck.